What is going on, everybody? So we're back again today. 1.16 just came out. And as always, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your very own Minecraft server on 1.16. The Nether update is pretty cool. I've explored a little bit of it. Hopefully I can do some more in the future. Real quick, I want to let you guys know about an Anarchy server that I've been hosting for the past 3 months. It's on mc.voizdev.com 1.15.2, and if you want to join, yeah, join in. But let's get right into the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a new folder on your desktop or anywhere that you're going to want to run the server from. So we're just going to create a new folder, and we're just going to name it MC Server 1.16. And this is going to be the directory where we basically put all our server files. So now we have to actually go out and get something called the server.jar. Now to do that, we can go straight to minecraft.net, and then we need to go actually do /download, and it should bring you to the download page for Minecraft. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to find the server software for Java. So you want to download the Minecraft Java Edition server software, click get it here, and keep this page open, but you're going to want to click this download link right here for the jar, and it's going to download the jar for you. And of course Chrome is going to say this type of file could harm your computer. Do you want to keep server jar anyway? We're going to click keep. You always want to click keep when you're downloading stuff from like Minecraft or Mojang, I should say. Anything that's trusted. The reason why Chrome is giving you like a warning here is because sometimes you can download stuff that's malicious, and this type of file could harm your computer. But because we're getting it from a trusted source, and that trusted source is Mojang, which is owned by Microsoft, we know it's safe. So we can click keep, and we're going to keep this server jar. And it renamed to server4jar for me because I've downloaded the server jar from Minecraft.net tons of times. Actually, this will be the 4th time, obviously, on this install of Windows. And that only does that because it doesn't name the server Minecraft_server 1.16 like that. It just names it server jar. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this file, we're going to drag it out onto our desktop and then into our Minecraft 1.16 folder. So we're going to let it copy. And then in here we have our server4.jar. We're just going to rename this. You guys might not have the 4. I only have it because I've done this 4 times already. So now I'm just going to rename it to server jar. That's probably what you're looking at, and that's where you want to be. So now we have just the server jar inside of our folder. Our next step is to write something called a batch file. So we're going to want to make a new text document. This is the easiest way to do this. So create a new text document. Alright, we can just call it start.txt for now. We're going to edit that. You can edit this with Notepad++, Notepad. I'm just going to use regular Notepad right now, but you can use anything you want to do this. So inside of here is where we're going to type our command for Java, which is going to start our server. So to do that, you guys can actually just basically go straight back to the Minecraft download website that you were on before, and this is what we want right here. This is the command. So we can copy this, or you can just type it in if you want, but it's easier for me to copy it. And we're going to copy it straight into this notepad. Alright, then we don't need Chrome anymore, so we can minimize that. And now we're going to tweak a couple of these values in here. I'm going to explain exactly what this is right now too. So this is a command, and it has a bunch of different parts to it, but the main command is Java. And then it's basically saying, alright, Java, you're allowed to use this much memory, okay, which is your RAM. This is called allocating memory to Java. So what you would do is this right here is 1024 megabytes. That's what the M means. This is the maximum amount of memory that your server is allowed to use. If you want to bump this up to 2 gigabytes, you could turn this to 2048. And I would also recommend keeping both of these numbers the same, so change the initialization amount also to 2048, because this isn't the smallest, this is the initialization. So basically you'll have what it starts with and then what it maxes out at, XMS and XMX. And you can tweak those values depending on how much RAM you want to allocate to your Minecraft server. I have other videos explaining this, but I thought I'd just go over it real quick here. The next part of this command is -jar, or -jar, and what that is telling Java is what type of file it's about to look at or interpret or run. And we're telling it it's a jar file. Alright? And then we're actually going to specify the name of our jar file. And as you can see, we have an issue here. The name of our jar file is server.jar. It's not Minecraft_server.1.16.jar like the command says here. If you guys don't change this, it's going to fail. I see so many people making this problem. You have to name your command the same as what your jar is actually named, because you're going out and looking for this file. It has to exist. The other one didn't exist. This one does. I hope that makes sense. And you just have to make sure that this and this are named the same exact thing, or it will not work. The next part of the command is nogui, and what this is going to do is basically make it so that Minecraft doesn't use its native GUI when the server launches. So Minecraft has their own really stupid GUI. I honestly don't like it. I don't use it, and I think it hurts your performance of your server overall, because it takes resources to load that and keep it rendered on your screen. So there's no point to really use it, because you can do everything you can do in there from the command line itself. So that's why I just stick in the command line. And I'm actually going to add one more thing to this batch file that they didn't do on the Minecraft website. And I'm going to hit enter to go down to a new line, and I'm going to type pause. And what that's going to do is prevent the command prompt from closing. Once this script finishes, it's going to pause and ask me to hit a key before it closes. And I'm doing that so if we get an error, we actually can read what the error is. Otherwise, it'll just tell you the error message, and then the window will just close. We don't want that. We want the window to stay open, so we're going to tell it to pause at the end. So that's what the pause means. And we can, we're done writing this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go File, and we're going to go Save As. This is very important. Okay? You want to make sure you're in your Minecraft server folder, which we are, and we're going to want to take this and see where it says Save As Type down here. We're going to change this file type to All Files, okay? And then we're going to remove this .txt file extension right here in the file name, and we're going to replace that with .bat, and that's the file extension for a batch file. And when we do this, it's going to, if we go back to our folder, now we have start.bat right above start.txt. We no longer need this text file, so we can X out of it, and we can actually delete it out of our folder. All we need is this start.bat and our server.jar. So the next step now would be to launch up the server jar. And there's another step. You guys have to have Java installed on your computer in order for the Java command to work. If that's not working, it could be a problem with your environment path variable. I will do my best to maybe provide a link in the description for a way to fix that. It's not the most straightforward thing to do, but you guys shouldn't really have too many issues with that. As long as you've played Minecraft before and Java seems to be working fine on your computer, you should be good. Also, try to make sure you have a 64-bit version of Java, because if you don't, you'll be limited on the amount of RAM that you can allocate to the server. I believe it's 2 gigabytes on 32-bit. So other than that, once you have Java and you know you have Java installed, which I'm assuming most of you already do, but the only reason I'm saying this is because I've had some people in the past ask me if they need Java to run a server, and the answer is yes, yes you do. So now we can actually run our batch file. So we're going to continue now. We're just going to double click it, and it's going to open up our command prompt. And it's going to, if you look over here in this folder, it's going to create a couple things. And then if we look back in the command prompt, it says failed to load properties from file. Well, that's because it didn't exist yet. And failed to load the eula.txt. And it created the eula.txt, which is EULA's end user license agreement, if you didn't know. What you need to do is agree to the end user license agreement in order to run the server. This is perfectly normal, and this will happen every time you launch a server. So what you can do is you can see our pause command worked great. It stopped everything so we could read it right here. So now all we have to do is just click enter to exit out of the command prompt, and you can see now we have a couple files here. We have logs, that was just what we saw in that window being saved to a file. We have our eula.txt, and then we also have our server.properties. We're not going to worry about the server.properties yet because it's not complete, but we're going to worry about eula.txt. So now we want to edit the eula.txt, and we want to change this setting from false to true. What that's doing is basically just accepting their license agreement and allowing us to use their software. So now once we put that to true, we can double click our start.bat again to launch the server, and we should see it progress this time. And you can see we launched up a Minecraft server on 1.16, game type survival. It's preparing our world right now. It's generating our spawn area. Alright, so now you can see that it's done initializing and preparing our spawn area. It says done down at the bottom here, and it told us how long it took to start up. And if you guys ever need help too, you can also put, I think it's just a question mark, or you can type in help. Yeah, they got rid of the question mark. So you can type in help, and it should give you all the stuff you can do from console, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna stop the server, and I'm gonna explain real quick the correct way to stop your server is do not hit this X button. If you hit this X button, you can corrupt your world files because it's not going to save them before exiting, or you can lose progress or get set back. There's tons of things that can happen. You can corrupt data that way. So the correct way to stop your Minecraft server is to use the stop command. Literally just type stop, hit enter, and it will stop the server. It's going to save all the chunks in every world and exit correctly. So now we can hit enter again to close the window, and we can see in here it created a bunch more files for us now. Now we have our user cache, we have a whitelist, we have the ops file, banned IPs and players, as well as our server properties in EULA, plus we have our actual world file here now. This is what you would replace or rename or change if you were wanting to put a custom map on here. Or, yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to edit the server properties file. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to go through a little bit of it right now. But the way that you edit this file, because I've had countless people hit me up saying that they don't know how to open this file because it's a .properties file extension. It's not associated with Notepad. They can't open it. They don't know how. And that's fine. I'm going to explain real quick how to do that. You would right click on it, okay? And then you would go open with. And you would find Notepad in this list and hit OK. It's that simple, guys. Alright, now that you have your server properties open, you can go and tweak all the settings for your server here. Alright, the one that you're going to want to worry about probably the most is going to be server port right here. The default port for Minecraft is 25565. Now, if you're going to be putting this up on your network and you want people from, like, you know, other parts of the country or even down the street, people that aren't in your local area network, people that aren't on your Wi-Fi, are going to need access to this server. And the way that they do that is going through a port. Alright, and you have to forward that port. So I'll explain what port forwarding is in a minute as well. But just so you know, this number is what you would need to know if you were going to port forward. If you're just playing LAN, you know, in your own Wi-Fi, you don't really have to worry about this. View distance is important. This is where you can change how far the server renders chunks away from a player. If you're having server stability problems, lowering this number could help you a lot. Online mode true. This is a big one for people. If you do not have a Minecraft premium account, setting this to false will let you join the server. It will not load skin or any type of information about a player's account. It's not going to be able to access the Mojang servers. What this does is if you make this false, it stops your server from talking to Mojang. Alright, it doesn't verify accounts and it'll let cracked players join your server. So if you want to play cracked, this is the setting you need to change. Level seed, people were having issues with this as well. The level seed is easy. You can put your seed here, but it's not going to change your existing world file. It's already generated this, remember? When we started the server up the first time, or the second time after we accepted our EULA, what it did was it created this world. And if you go into this world right here and you actually look in this level.data file, I can't because I don't have an NBT editor right now, but there's already a seed in there. That's not going to change if you just type a seed in here. But what you can do is you can delete this world, and regenerate a new one with a seed here, and it will use that seed in that world, if that makes sense. So set a seed, delete your world, regenerate the world, and now you'll have that seed. So that's how that works. And then message of the day, this is probably the other one that you guys are going to care about the most. This is where you would set what it says in the server select screen. So if I wanted to say Voizdev's, tutorial 1.16 server. We'll save that now. And yeah, so that's just a couple things that you can change. I have a whole nother video explaining basically what most of this stuff does in here, what you should change and what you shouldn't, and just it gives you a good idea of everything in your server.properties file. I'll put a card up here for that, and yeah, hopefully you guys can figure out whatever you need to figure out with that. So that's basically it for the server.properties. We can X out of that now, and we can launch our server. And this is the server, guys. It is basically done at this point. This right here is your server. You can't X out of this window. I keep getting people asking me, oh, after I load up the command prompt, can I X out of it and will my server still be up? No. This is literally the server software running. If you close this out, the server software stops running and you don't have a server anymore. So this has to be up 24/7. You can minimize it, you can do whatever you want to keep it out of the way, but you can't close it. It has to be running. So now I'm going to show you guys how to join the server, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are. We have Minecraft 1.16 loaded up. Look at that nether in the background. So, to join our server, it's just as easy as going to multiplayer. And we'll add our server in so we can see our message of the day. And we'll just name this tutorial real quick, or just tut. And then the server address. Now this is where everyone's getting confused. There are only three ways to join a Minecraft server. There's locally, which is if you are hosting the server on the same computer that you're trying to join on. So if I was hosting that server we just set up on the computer that my Minecraft client is playing on right now, I would join locally. Now the way to do that is to just type in a 0. I'm assuming that's what most of you are doing. Now that's how you're going to want to join your Minecraft server, is just by typing a 0 and hitting enter. You can also type localhost like that. That is the same thing as typing 0, okay? Or there's one more thing you can do, which confuses a lot of people, but it's not that complicated. You can type in something called your loopback IP address. That is 127.0.0.1. Alright? I can almost guarantee that for all of you. Unless someone went and manually changed it, that's your loopback IP. That's the same thing as typing 0, same thing as typing localhost. Now, let's say you were hosting that on a different port. You know how it was 25565 was the default that we saw in our server.properties file? Let's say that it was 25566 because we have two Minecraft servers running and we want to join our second one and not the first. Now, if you just type in 0, it's going to go to 25565. So to go to 25566, this works with anything on the internet, by the way. You would put a colon after the URL or the IP address, and you would do 25566. That's the other port. That would let you join the Minecraft server if you were running it on 25566. So that's how to join locally, and I'm assuming that's what most of you guys are doing right now. The other way to join, which is how I'm going to have to do it right now, is basically if you were to set up you have a spare computer in your house, you set up a Minecraft server on it, and let's say that's tucked away somewhere in the office or something, and now you're sitting in the living room on your laptop and you want to play Minecraft on that server. It's still within your network, so you need the IP address of that other computer. Alright? Now, real quick, we'll go back into where the server was, and you can see we need this computer is separate from the other one that I'm running Minecraft on. So I need the IP address of this computer. Now the way that we can do that is by opening up a command prompt. So you're going to want to open up a command prompt. You can do that by typing CMD down here in your search bar. And once you get the command prompt open, you're going to want to type the command ipconfig. If I can spell, and I can't spell today. So there we go, ipconfig, and hit enter. This is going to give you your Windows IP configuration. What you care about is something called your IPv4 address, and it's right here. And ours is 10.0.0.204. So that's what we need to type in when we go into Minecraft. So let's pop back over to our Minecraft client. Okay, so now that we've figured out what the IP address is of the server computer, now we just type that in here and it takes us to the server. So it'd be 10.0.0.204. And this, if when I click done, you can see, hey, it pinged the server and it got a response and it says this is Voizdev's tutorial 1.16 server, so it's working. Now let's see if we can join it. And there we are, guys. Look at that. We're on Minecraft 1.16 on our own server that we just created. Okay, so now that we're on our server, you're probably wondering, hey, how do I give myself cheats and commands? I own this place. Shouldn't I be able to, you know, give myself creative mode and fly around and, you know, cheat and all that fun stuff? Well, yeah, you can do that, but if I type in /game mode, you can tell me that it's not going to let me do anything. And the reason why is because I'm not opt on this server. Now, you're going to want to opt yourself. So to do that, you can't do that in game. You have to go back to the console for that. So we're going to pop back over to the console. And you can see in here, I already did it once, but we're going to do it again just for the sake of showing you guys. You're going to type in OP space and then your username. So mine's Voizdev. So OP Voizdev. And that makes Voizdev a server operator. So now if we go and hop back over to our Minecraft server, you can now see that it made us a server operator, and if I type game mode, it'll let us actually go into creative. So, yeah. Alright, now that's great. You got on the server yourself. Now you want to get your friend on the server. That's the next struggle that you're going to have to get over with hosting a server, is something called port forwarding. Alright? Now, basically, if you want your friend to join your server, you're going to have to give him something called your external IP address. You can't find that out through a command prompt. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to have to go online and just Google, probably, what is my IPv4? Alright? And I'm not going to hit enter because it's going to show my IP and I don't have a VPN on right now. So Google that, figure out your IP address. It's going to look like some number like 121.25.245.12. It's going to look something like that, all right? If it has letters in it, that is an IPv6. That's not what you want. You want an IPv4. Make sure, that's important. So you would give that IP address to your friend, and he would type that in to join your server. But there's one more thing you have to do, and it's called port forwarding. I have a whole nother video explaining what port forwarding is and how to do it, and I'm going to link that right now. I'm not going to go over it here. If you guys want to know how to port forward, go follow one of those guides, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or let me know, or drop them in the comments even. But let me explain really quick why you need to port forward. When you port forward, you basically create a little hole, alright? A little hole in the firewall called a port. And what that's going to do is allow certain traffic that's directed at that port to flow through your router. And then your router is told what computer to forward all that information to, which would be your server. So you basically have to tell your friend, connect to this port, and then my router will send you to the server. That's how that works. So they would type in your external IP address, and it would automatically go to port 25565, because that's what Minecraft's default port is. And if you had 25565 port forwarded to your server's host address on your router, you'd be able to join. Now, that is the issue most people are having when trying to set up a server. It's not getting the software to work, it's getting the networking side of it to work. Like I said, I'll drop the guide up in the top right now that I have for port forwarding, but if you don't port forward, your external friends are not going to be able to get on your Minecraft server because your router's firewall is going to block them from doing so. and that's normal functionality. And like I said, you can change that, you can fix that just by port forwarding. Well, there you go. That was how to set up your very own Minecraft 1.16 server. If you had any questions about that at all, be sure to drop them down in the comments section below. You can always DM me on Discord if you have any further questions. I might be able to even help you one-on-one on there. It depends. There's a lot of people that hit me up. Sometimes I don't have time, but I'll always try to answer you if I can. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more tutorials from me in the future, definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. But that's going to be it for this one, so see you guys in the next video.